That's how I do business. That's why I am business.
Bold positions and brash opinions on the topics America is buzzing about. The Five.
How do you think this will set in with the American people?
This will be the pulse of the nation.
Washington insight and political know-how from the best in the Beltway. Special report with Brett Baer.
The epicenter of the political world is here.
The number one place for fair and balanced coverage. Fox News Channel.
What's wrong with working hard to make our lives and our kids' lives better? Nothing. At Fox Business, we don't have a problem with success. We have a very big problem with those who get in the way of it. We don't come out of the box bashing those who make money, just the politicians stealing it and the bureaucracies wasting it. We're not just sitting behind a desk. We're out in the field, on the floor, with the folks. Because when a story moves forward, so do we.
Fox Business, the power to prosper. Check your local listings.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
Hi, Danny Warfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, less roofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
When I started thinking about this year's Christmas greeting, I wanted to make it something meaningful. So here is my heartfelt wish for us all. Good health, prosperity, and the peace to be happy, whatever our circumstances. Remember the reason for the season. Merry Christmas.
Your source for the number one sports weekends. Fox Sports, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
All right, thank you for tuning in. 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. It's Monday morning. Are you still in the holiday mode, or are you slipping out of that now?
No, I'm still in the holiday mode.
Still in the holiday mode.
Because I still love my tree, my Christmas tree, and my lights and decorations.
Yeah.
I turn them on every night, and I just love it.
You slip out of it. It's like when you are out on a trip somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd prefer to go back slowly rather than like with an airplane.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like that? Like you want to fly to your destination, and then you want to take a train or a bus or a car back home.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
To slowly get back into the normal thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you're in a hurry to get there, right? You're in a hurry to get to Christmas, and you want to slowly slip away from Christmas.
Yeah. So I think, this week that'll be my slow mood.
I think the warm temperatures help. I think the warm temperatures this weekend made me feel like, okay, Christmas is over. It's warm again. Speaking of temperatures, right now 62 degrees. We do expect rain today, according to this.
Mm-hmm.
High temperatures today around 82. Tonight only 64 as the low. And just jumping ahead to Wednesday, New Year's Eve day, It should be pretty much, a little bit cooler. 64 degrees is the expected high on Wednesday, and 50 degrees the expected low Wednesday night.
Oh, okay.
And the first day of the year, relatively cool, 68 and 54.
Yeah.
But anyway, so.
Which will be here live, so on Thursday.
We'll be live.
We'll be live.
Not Memorex.
So. No,
Not Memorex.
Never a rebroadcast for you and I.
All right, let's talk about this issue here, and give me a second to go through it, and then I will allow you. You can call anytime. I just won't answer the phone right now. But I might. But I do want the calls. I just want to get through the beginning of this first. All right. So there are. Hold on. Let me make sure that you're on the picture. There you go. Oh, there you go. I see you.
Yeah, I look
in the
a
Christmas
mess.
tree. All right. Florida's minimum wage will rise to $8.05 an hour on January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. The new minimum wage for tipped employees must be at least $5.03 an hour. Must be at least $5.03. And farm workers, illegal immigrant farm workers or undocumented immigrant farm workers, however you want to phrase it. Let me see. I did have the number here somewhere. They don't make much money.
No, I don't think they pay taxes. And I don't think their employer pays.
All right. Yeah,
you think so?
Well, I don't know if you're using that as an argument to keep them at the low wages.
No, I'm not.
Some of them make $180 to $200 a week at 10 hours a day. Wow.
Gosh, that's a shame. Whether you're documented or not, that's a shame.
That's 10 hours a day. So $180 to $200 a week, 10 hours a day, working as a farm laborer. So the farmers, let me get this story. This is not me saying it. I'm getting this from the Associated Press. Are concerned that there will be a labor shortage under the new policy, singular. So I want to tell you about this, and I have so many thoughts about this. There was another, I have so many different sources of information. So let me go back and forth between these, because I want to express my thought on this, and then also share what the experts say about this.
Okay.
And then ask the question, why? Okay? And so that's my pre-thing here. Farmers already scrambling to find workers in California, which is the nation's leading grower of fruits, vegetables, and nuts, fear an even greater labor shortage under President Barack Obama's executive action to block some 5 million people from deportation. All right? So the farmers are worried about the new policy that will stop deportation. This is interesting. Thousands of the state's farm workers, who make up a significant portion of those who will benefit, may choose to leave the uncertainty of their seasonal jobs for steady, year-round work, building homes, cooking in restaurants, and cleaning hotel rooms that pay minimum wage.
Yes.
They are leaving a job that is harder to do, that is only seasonal, that pays less, so that they can work and make a reasonable wage, of course, all because they are no longer for fear of being deported, because somehow they were protected from deportation when they were working on farms. I don't get this. There's something wrong with this picture.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jason Resnick, the vice president and general counsel of the trade association Western Growers, which is I guess it's a large organization, said this: "This action is not going to bring new workers to agriculture. It's possible that because of this action, agriculture will lose workers without any mechanism to bring in new workers." Well, what about paying them?
Yeah.
When we hear that Americans won't work because they don't want to do this type of work, we're being lied to.
Exactly.
Americans won't do this work because they can get other work that pays full wages. Remember the story of the young man? This goes back years.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a young man. He was special. What do you call it? Mentally? Challenged or whatever. And forgive me if I'm using the wrong expression, but I'm just trying to tell you who he was. I don't remember. Was it Indiana someplace?
Yeah, it was someplace
in the Midwest.
In the Midwest, yeah.
And he was in the news because he was turned away from a job working on a farm because as an American citizen, he would not be allowed to work for less than minimum wage.
That's right.
The farmer said, "I can't hire you because I'm legally bound to pay you minimum wage, even though the kid could have done a good job. He wasn't a kid. He was like 18 or 19.
Right, exactly. He wanted to work.
He wanted to work, and he probably was willing to work for lower wages,
Right.
but legally he wasn't allowed to. Now, I'm not saying we should legally allow lower wages. I'm not saying that at all. I think it's a disgrace. And I do have some information later on that shows that the price of groceries would not go up that much. I have that, so just hang in. I know that's going to be the argument. Although details of the president's immigration policy have yet to be worked out, Mr. Resnick, with the Western Growers Association, Mr. Resnick said the agricultural workforce has been declining for a decade. Today, the association estimates there is a 15 to 20% shortage of farm workers, which is driving the industry to call for substantial immigration reform from Congress, such as a sound guest worker program. Because, and this is my words now. Why? Because, well, why should we pay somebody minimum wage?
Right, that's an
Why should we pay somebody minimum wage? We can get somebody who will work for less than that to pick our tomatoes and work our fields.
Right. And agriculture, they have a lot of incentives. They have a lot of deductions for their tax returns. So the government is already giving everybody in agriculture a tax break. So why they can't pay minimum wage and do their part like all the other private businesses and the businesses in the private sector,
Maybe then they would have no labor shortage. Maybe then they wouldn't have that problem.
Exactly.
Hopefully there will be the opportunity for comprehensive immigration reform. That's a statement from Karen Ross, Secretary of the California Department of Food and Agriculture. That's the right thing to do for this country, she says. But what she considers immigration reform is to allow the work, what do you call it again? The work permits. And therefore the lower wages. That's what she's basically saying. California's 330,000 farm workers account for the largest share of the 2.1 million farm workers nationwide, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Texas comes in second place with less than half of the farm workers that California has.
Yeah, and I bet Florida has a lot of that too.
Oh, we do.
They're just not in there.
We do.
They're just not in their statistics.
Well, and let's look at this too. This is beyond the farmers. This is also going to the construction. And how do I know this? Because right here in Ocala, when they were building that shopping section west of the interstate, what's that called again?
A marketplace.
When they were building that, we had union workers here who were complaining that they weren't getting hired to help build that thing.
Yep.
And that undocumented immigrants were working for lower wages to build it.
And that's how it was.
So it's not just the farm workers, the farmers that are taking advantage of this.
And it's true because Ronnie's a union person. He's worked on union jobs, but each craft has different bids, and there were a lot of undocumented workers from Mexico that were working a couple of the lowest crafts you could have, and and they weren't citizens, and they were getting paid a lot less.
All right, let's continue this conversation when we come back. I just have a little bit more to read, but I do want your phone calls, so we'll start taking phone calls after the break. And the question is, what should we do about this? And I also want to make sure I read to you the quote that says the price of groceries would not go up. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A warm day today with some sunshine followed by increasing clouds, high 79 to 83. It'll be mostly cloudy and mild tonight, though 63 to 67. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon, high 75 to 79. On Wednesday, variable cloudiness, high 72 to 76. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Kevin Harvick wins the final race of the year and the championship. I'm Joe Moore. This is the Coca-Cola Monday Morning Race Refresher, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Open a Coke and enjoy the race.
What does it mean to add refreshing Coca-Cola to an ordinary day? It means your family's celebrating the 5th of July. It's turning the living room floor into the best seat in the house. We're spending a weekend losing your voice while finding it. It means sitting down with a delicious Coke and interrupting the interruptions. After all, there are 364 other days that would love some fireworks. So grab an ice cold Coke and make any day a holiday. Coca-Cola. Open happiness.
Kevin Harvick was strong when he needed to be at the end of the Ford EcoBoost 400 last night at Homestead Miami Speedway. Kevin won the race and the 2014 Sprint Cup Series Championship.
This week ate me up. If it wasn't for Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart, I'd have been in bad trouble this week. Those guys really helped me get through the week, and just, today was fine. I was a little bit anxious both days in practice and overdriving the car and not doing things that I needed to be doing. And after every practice, Jimmy was in there. Our team debriefs. Tony was constantly telling me, just go race. It's just another race. And today it was. It all worked out. So just really proud of everybody.
Chase contender Ryan Newman finished second last night. It was Brad Keselowski coming in third, Paul Menard fourth, and Jamie McMurray fifth. Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon, the rest of the top 10. Harvick got the championship and won it by just 1 point over Ryan Newman. Denny Hamlin, third in the season finale, and Joey Logano finished fourth in the championship. Again, Kevin Harvick wins the 2014 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series title. I'm Joe Moore. That's the Monday Morning Race Refresher, sponsored by Coca-Cola on the Motor Racing Network.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment. 352-615-5566.
All right, 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. 62 degrees here at The Source, WOCA, broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall, which is very dead right now compared to what it's been the last couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. Normal hours today.
Very dead. Is today school?
I don't know.
No.
That I can't
Probably not
answer.
till after the new year, right? So school's still, I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know for sure.
All right, so the topic that we're talking about, and I invite you to call in and express your opinion on this, is that in a nutshell, this is how I see it. The new, and there's an irony here too, by the way, and I'm going to try to do my best to remember this. But it's the article from the Associated Press says farmers are bracing for a labor shortage under the new policy, which is more lenient to immigrants instead of kicking them out of the country or deporting them.
Yeah.
The wages are so low. And the hours are so long, and of course the conditions are not exactly the best. They're working in the heat and with the bugs and the mud and everything like that. And then they say, the average American wouldn't take these jobs because they pay too little, whatever. Well, why don't they just raise the wages? I do want to read one thing real quickly, and then I'll go to the phone. Thank you. I see somebody calling in. Let me just get that set up. Okay, just hang in there. I'll be with you in just a second. Okay, so there was one quote here. I have to go back. I'm just going to give you the man's last name. I don't know his full name. Martin, the University of California agriculture professor, said food prices would not rise significantly if farmers paid their workers more because only a small percentage of the cost of harvesting fruits and vegetables goes to pay the workers' wages. Few Americans are willing to do farm work anymore, even at higher wages. Lettuce pickers in Yuma, Arizona, can earn as much as $20 an hour. Oh, really? As a result, farmers increasingly have been forced to rely on immigrants. But a series of laws that Arizona passed to crack down on immigrants in the U.S. illegally has made it even more difficult for farmers to find enough workers. So they're complaining when they were trying to be tougher on them to kick them out, and they're complaining when it's easier on them so they won't be kicked out. This I'm having a hard time understanding. In 2008, there was employer sanctions law, which required all employers in the state to use a federal computer system known as E-Verify to check whether every person they hire is legally eligible to work.
Right.
And yet, we have this argument now. That was 2008. So 6 years later, the exact same argument, but for a different reason.
Right.
And this is one more paragraph from the Associated Press article, then I'm going to go to the phone. Once Obama's executive action starts going into effect, It will protect the parents of legal U.S. residents from deportation and expand a 2012 program that shields from deportation people brought into the U.S. illegally as children. Manuel Ncunha, president of the Fresno-based Nisi Farmers League, estimates that 85% of California's agricultural workers are using false documents to obtain work. The bottom line here is if the wages were competitive with whatever McDonald's pays or whatever, whatever. I mean, $20 an hour is not bad. I'm confused about that one. I don't know if that was accurate or not. But the other one said, what did it say, $180 to $200 a week?
Yeah,
something
50,
like that.
10-hour days, but they don't say how many days that 10 hours encompasses. They don't say what
but still, but still, you're working 10 hours. You would assume, okay, it could be 6, it could be 2.
Yeah.
You don't know. I understand what you're saying, but still, if the wages are so low, it was $3.40 an hour somewhere, Robin. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, it's just.
If the wages are low, then no wonder nobody wants to work for them, and shame on them for depending on illegal immigrants.
And that's why we have minimum wage, so everybody has, can make a decent living.
But it's almost like somebody looks the other way.
Yeah, in
some cases. They must look the other way in farmers. They must look the other way.
Yes, they do.
For
horse farms, too. They look
what do you call them? The construction industry. They must look the other way. However,
they do.
I know, and somebody's going to call and say, Larry, I work for a farm. I am a farmer, and I pay, so don't be slamming all farmers. Mm-hmm. Forgive me if I'm including you in on it, because I know there are some people out there that aren't doing that. But
right.
All right. Good morning. You're on the air. What do you think?
Good morning. You guys are right on target. We agree on this one because, look, I used to do that type of work. So I know, before I went to college. And I can tell you, the reason many Americans don't do it is because when they started getting the influx of people from the various foreign countries to do it, they started paying them less. So, of course, in the E-Verify, they look the other way. It's all about money. One thing that John Lund and Randy Harris and I used to always agree on with these agriculture exemptions for horse farms and all that stuff, it's a bunch of junk. People look the other way, and this E-Verify is just a way of saying legally, we don't do this and we don't do that. What they do, they have a buffer. They put the managers of the farms and stuff in there and say, well, we don't know. And as far as the cost going up, we're paying them more. You're exactly right. The cost wouldn't go up that much because most of the cost is in the advertising and the labels and all that stuff that they put on the same can that you would get generically from a Publix or any other place would have a Publix label. But when they put Del Monte or whatever and all that stuff on there, the cost of it skyrockets. And they have to pay for the shelves and the advertising and all this stuff, the commercials, and that's where a lot of the money is. It's not really in paying the farm workers. But look, it's all about politics, and this one is not a Democrat nor a Republican issue. This is about
I don't see it that way either. Yeah,
it's about pure dollars. It's about who have access to the politicians. Look, nobody, I don't care, Republicans or Democrats or whatever. Bottom line is, if they wanted to deport all immigrants and illegals and stuff like that, and quite frankly, what people begin to see a lot of times is that they're not most of them aren't the ones that they identify from Mexico and all that. That's just a small portion of really. A lot of them are the ones that come over and overstay illegal visas. But the bottom line is, the people, the people that own the stock and those types of things, the big people that's making the big money off these people, none of them want to see them go back, and because it's all about money. And if they really wanted to enforce this, they could do it tomorrow. But the reason they don't, they'd have to. Some of these millionaires and billionaires would be going to jail for hiring illegals and those types of things. Yeah. So nobody wants to see them go, but it's good politics. It's good politics to bash the illegals and all that stuff because you know what it does? It keeps the average, ill-informed, blue-collar person out there, whether they be black, white, brown, or whatever, It keeps us fighting against each other and not looking at the big picture.
Yeah,
but
maybe you're right, yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Lenny.
Yeah, school is still out. It won't be back in until after the holidays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the blue-collar worker does know, though, who the illegals are on their job.
I mean, so if we had across the board some kind of enforcement that says, look, here's the minimum wage, you pay it or you pay it or you don't.
Exactly.
You can't. Now, the argument is they're making more money than they would if they were working on a farm in Mexico. Mm-hmm. But that's not that's kind of a weak argument, because when you have a wage that is competitive, you have a larger workforce, period. Mm-hmm. When you hire illegal immigrants, you are supporting the idea that you can come over here illegally, make better money than you can at home, and at the same time, you're preventing an American from working there. I don't buy the whole thing. That you got to be kidding. You mean to tell me there's not some 18, 19, 20, 25-year-old that wouldn't love to have a $20 an hour job picking lettuce in Yuma, Arizona?
Sure.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, some college kid that's just trying to make ends meet while he's making his way through college.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get that at all. So that might be the exception, that $20 an hour thing. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it looks like it was a small wage, and it was less than minimum wage, regardless of how many hours they were working. It is seasonal. I understand that. Mm-hmm. So there's every reason in the world why anybody with a brain would want to have a job that paid more.
Yeah, right.
And if we had back in 2008. People complaining that the laws were too strict and it's hurting the farms, and now we have the laws are too lenient, it's hurting the farms. How does that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
How does that happen? The only thing I can see here, the conclusion I come to, and your calls are welcome. We've got 2.5 minutes. Don't blame me if you called in too late and I have to cut you off. Mm-hmm. But the conclusion I come to is that if wages were paid competitively, then like every other product, every other what do you call an item that's marketable? Commodity.
Yes.
Every other commodity, labor is a commodity, mm-hmm. and the labor force would be coming to you if you were offering the right wages.
Yeah.
Even if it was a kid from Kansas, mm-hmm. who's an American as can be, whatever that would mean.
That's right.
I think we do have to have immigration laws. I'm not denying that. And I do think we have to make sure we take care of the illegal immigration problem. Mm-hmm. But I do think what feeds the immigration problem is the allure of a job that pays more than in your home country, whether it's Mexico or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even if to our standards it seems like horrible work, to them they're making more money than they would have at home. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, an American who's legally here doesn't get the opportunity to work at those jobs, and they say, they don't want these jobs anyway, so we have to have these illegal immigrants.
Yeah,
See, I don't believe that.
Mm-mm.
I don't believe that. Everybody who's here, well, with the exception of anybody who's Native American, but I am a descendant of an immigrant.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandfather had to jump through hoops in order to do it legally, and then he had a job that paid normal wages.
That's
Up
right.
in Connecticut, he was a machinist or something.
Yep.
I think.
My grandparents too, same way.
And I'm not saying he made a fortune, but I bet it was whatever the going rate was at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right, let's we're gonna lighten up a little bit after this. Things that are being dropped on New Year's Eve.
Mall Studios. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Search teams looking for an AirAsia jet in the Java Sea have spotted debris that could be from the plane.
It was flying to Singapore from Surabaya in Indonesia. The pilot reported bad weather. The United States 7th Fleet here in Japan says it is ready to offer help if asked, but also helping is Malaysia. This the third air disaster this year with a Malaysia connection.
Fox Radio's Alistair Wagland. 5 people confirmed dead in a Greek ferryboat fire in the Adriatic Sea. About 80 remain trapped on board. Dottie Channing Williams victim's mother of a British passenger.
It's very, very hard to get information, and then some of the information that you get is actually not correct. So it's very hard. We've had a very hard night.
About 400 have been rescued. 4 people found dead at a home in Crowley, Texas. A 9-year-old boy who was not hurt had called a relative and said a man there was hurt after trying to kill himself. Fox News, we report inside.